So I want to play this clip again. It's Faction Talk 103, Covino and Rich. Everything at Covino and Rich. I get real passionate about it. I really do. And I figured out why. I went to the bathroom, and I had an epiphany. I'm like, why am I so angry?
And I had a thought about this, too.
Why is this clip making me Asian? Scrub your asshole!
Scrub your asshole!
Scrub your asshole!
Scrub it!
That's the name of today's show, by the way, Devin. Scrub your asshole.
Yeah, when you put it on demand, leave that to L.A.
Yeah, scrub your asshole.
$$, hole.
Asshole.
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 Yeah, scrub your $$ hole, not hole. Hole. Scrub your asshole.
I want
Asshole.
Asshole.
The asshole.
All right, let's welcome, and Cathy's probably thinking, what did I just walk into?
What is going on here?
Let's welcome for the first time on the show, Cathy Kelley.
Hello.
Hey.
How are you?
I was
Kathy.
just hanging in the lobby eating candy. So
Stop eating all the candy.
Yeah.
It is a terrible thing Sirius XM has done.
Right.
Candy in the lobby is just... It's a disaster waiting to happen.
Right.
Anyone that's trying to eat healthy or do anything,
Dude,
you
don't
can't
fall for her
not.
trap. She's talking snack. That's her
that's
whole
right.
plan.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, she's got a new show on WWE, Talking Snack. We're going to talk about that. But, Cathy, we're in the middle of this debate, and
Okay.
we
It's
want you
heated.
to resolve it because I do believe in right and wrong. And, I'm sort of split down the middle. I want Devin's feedback, and I get real passionate, and here's why.
Yeah.
As a kid, right, 99% of the time, I agreed with my dad. Anytime there was an argument breaking out, right, I'm like, I got dad's side. Mom's wrong on this one, right?
Yeah.
And if they got into it, I'm like, I'm leaving with dad. I don't want to be stuck here with mom.
Oh, no.
She gets crazy, starts throwing shit. Yo, dad, take me with you, right? Yeah, I'm leaving. No, seriously, when my dad would be like, I'm getting out of here, I'm like, no, because I know I'm the guy left, right? So anytime a fight broke out in the home, I usually had my dad's side.
Yes.
Except for this one thing, because my mom would say, how do you get clean if you're not scrubbing yourself without a sponge? And I always had my mom's side on that because mom was right. This is the one time mom was right. You're not clean unless you're scrubbing yourself.
Well, there was
Suds don't clean you.
what's the show, Jake? The Neighborhoods?
It's called The Neighborhood.
Yeah, just play the clip real quick because it got us thinking. Go ahead.
In there is a bathrobe, and here is a towel and a washcloth
Why would I need a washcloth?
to wash yourself with. It's in the name, washcloth.
I just take the soap and rub it on my body.
That's nasty. I mean, you're getting the soap all dirty.
Soap can't get dirty. It's soap.
Wait a minute, do white people not use washcloths?
I don't know any who do. Do black people use washcloths?
I don't know any who don't.
Kind of just brings up what's a washcloth? Are you a washcloth
I'm
user?
not a washcloth user. Like I've had friends
Ever?
where I've stayed at their houses, or I used to use a loofah,
Right.
but like now I don't. I don't know.
Just suds.
I
Just
thought
suds
that
it
this
up.
was going to be a much more heated argument walking in. I
Oh, no,
was
'cause
revved up.
Rich says he's the cleanest guy in the studio.
Okay.
on the planet.
And you're a washcloth guy?
I do not use a washcloth.
Okay.
I feel like there's a factor we're forgetting.
It seems more environmentally friendly to not, even though it's reusable, obviously.
If you are not hairy, that's a factor. I'm not saying you're a hairy guy, but I feel like that's a factor too because
You
oils and
saying
dirt
I have
stays
a
in
hairy
hair.
asshole?
No, if you have a hairy ass hair.
You get me so mad about this.
No, but I think that if you are a hairy person, oils and dirt stay in hair.
Okay,
If you're
yeah.
if you're a guy with no hair on your back, if you're a guy that doesn't really have much of a hairy chest, if you shave your balls and trim up and you're a clean guy,
Right.
you're not going to be that dirty. If you're a woman that's like look at you're not a hairy person at all, Cathy Kelley.
Well, thank you.
But you don't need to. I don't think every a loofah here and there, but I don't think every day you need to be scrubbing your body. You're not working in an oil
No,
patch.
I mean, like, I have, like, a little apricot scrub that I
Right.
use sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, so you're still exfoliating.
okay.
I remember reading, like, back in the day that in the medieval times, they showered took a bath once a year, and it was the communal family
But
bath.
it's 2018.
Like, it wasn't even, it was literally like the head of the household would go first, and then it would go down. All of the women would then take a bath, and then the baby would, like, be in the bath, and that's the don't lose the baby in the bathwater.
Oh, that's
Yeah, but you would do it
how-
once a year.
Right. See, but she's exfoliating too, which is key. So she is scrubbing a
Yeah.
little bit.
So how is
really
that soft
when
skin.
she when
But
she
Cathy,
says
I got to admit, yeah, minus points for Cathy Kelley. You
please.
don't scrub. You got to scrub.
I do scrub.
in the soap.
Just not with a washcloth.
Then you with your hand in the suds.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that I'm a relatively smelly person.
So after a
Like,
hard
that's
day
what-
at the gym,
Yeah.
right, and you
Yep.
got to clean that sweat off.
Yeah.
It's just suds and water.
Suds and water, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
But
Efficiency.
I'm with her. But you're forgetting
But it
what
proves
she
the
said.
theory.
That the body wash has a lot of body washes have like what's I call it, sand in it. What do you call it? Like the
Some
exfoliating.
are actually really.
It feels like sand. You know, like the exfoliating.
It's not good for the
beads.
environment sometimes. The beads are not good. The ones that like disintegrate are good.
Now those things, like you're scrubbing with that, it's exfoliating you, which is getting the dirt and shit off yourself.
Right. Okay, fine.
The
Let's
end.
let's get one last bit of feedback from Devin, who's half black, half white.
Oh, so
we'll
this is-
see
yeah.
where he leans. You know?
Plus, the other day we discovered that he loves the store Lush. He's a 22-year-old guy that he what do you do? You sprinkle
the jasmine powder on my chest. So
Treat yourself, Devin.
Yeah, Devin.
That's amazing.
Yeah, he's got great skin. So Devin, where do you stand on this?
Well, growing up, I was forced to use a washcloth by my mother. She would always double check. My mom's white, so it was weird. But my dad never used one, and now I use a loofah. Mainly, the whole point is just like get the dead skin off your body, exfoliate. It doesn't really matter how you do it. Just don't come out dirty.
You know,
come out cleaner.
That's a great answer. I appreciate that. I think some guys, and it's usually me, according to you, Rich, are too manly or macho for their own good, where I think it's okay to use a sponge, you cave people, especially if you're working hard and you're doing real work. You got to get clean, the end. But I do think there is a sort of racial divide here. I do think that this clip is true. You know, I think it's mostly white people that don't.
I think it is.
Right. So there you go. And that's from what? Let's give him props again. What show?
The Neighborhood.
All right, the neighborhood. So Cathy Kelley is here again. WWE's Cathy Kelley.
Yes.
There's some news in the WWE we got to talk about.
Yeah,
But
before we get to our, I want to play a little game of which one of these stories is more messed up.
yeah.
Two stories that have to do with, I guess, relationships or sex. We'll get to that in a second. But I want to talk about this WWE thing for a second.
Yeah.
Because when we first met you, it was through our pal, Kevin Undergaro
Right.
and Maria, who are great. You were doing WWE stuff at AfterBuzz, right?
Yeah.
And it just sort of took off from there. It just, because I remember when we first met you, from that time till now, man, things have gone good for you.
I know. I feel like my life has changed so much in the last 2 years, and it's exactly the same as it was 2 years ago. You know, I'm still like grinding the same amount of hours and, you know, doing exactly what I love. Like, I feel like I wouldn't want to do a job if it wasn't fun for me.
Right.
But yeah, the only difference is I'm in New York now instead of LA.
Right. And congratulations on that, because Rich is right. When we were first introduced to you, you know, we were like, okay, she's doing her thing. That's cool. And it seems like you were able to do something or take things next level where, you know, your following, your career has gone a lot further. What do you think the trick was? Like, how did you get all these people all of a sudden to jump on board? Is it the wrestling?
It's definitely
wrestling fans.
wrestling fans are so loyal. The WWE universe is crazy loyal when it comes to that stuff. I think it was just like I've always been doing the same thing of like since I graduated from college. Even before then, I did a TV show through my high school. My high school TV producer or TV teacher was producing a TV show for a local station in Chicago. And so I was always kind of like wanting to be involved in that stuff. And you just have to keep doing it.
And all of a sudden it hits.
Yeah. So many years I worked for no money at all. And then finally I'm like, okay, I have a job. I'm an adult. Like I can take care of myself and
now
I'm doing
she's
what I
making
love.
millions.
Yeah. Well,
No, hold
Not
on, no.
millions.
But first, let me ask you this though, because when you
get paid in candy. So.
were you Laffy Taffy? Did you always love wrestling, or is it something where you said, you know what, I sort of like this, and then very quickly you realize, well, this is sort of fun and entertaining, and oh my goodness, the opportunities could be here. Let me really dive into wrestling.
It was never about opportunity whatsoever. It was about I've always wanted to do TV hosting, and I really love interviewing people. And I kind of was trying to figure out what exactly I wanted to do. Like in high school, I thought I wanted to be in a band, and I was in a band for like a couple months, and then started interviewing
play the
bands.
trumpet?
I played the bass guitar.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Trombone.
That's a different kind of band.
Right.
But yeah, I always like really enjoyed interviewing people. And then I actually wasn't allowed to watch much TV when I was younger, so I had no idea what the WWE was. And then when I moved to LA, I started working for Kevin and Maria at AfterBuzz, and I was doing the Bachelor after show and started helping them book talent, book guests for other shows, and working in the office. And every Tuesday morning, our executive producer would turn on Monday Night Raw so that we were caught up on, you know, every single TV show because there were so few people there at the time
You got pulled
working. Yeah, and like
The drama?
The first week I was like, I just want to get my work done. Like, why are we watching television while I'm supposed to be emailing? I can't like focus on anything. And then the second week I stayed quiet and I watched it. And the third week I was like, so when are we watching Raw?
So you got pulled in.
Yeah.
So when it comes to the history, you're not really that into it, right?
Oh, I'm so into it now. That, like,
then
that,
you had to backtrack then, right?
Literally, that became my life.
Oh,
like,
so you dove in.
I lost friends over watching wrestling. Like,
Really?
I was obsessed with
Probably,
it. Yeah.
But you probably gained friends too. Like
Well,
you and Sam
yeah,
Roberts
now
are,
I gained
you and
so
Sam are
many
pals,
friends.
right?
Totally. And my best friend Francia, she's also a huge WWE fan. But yeah, I went through a phase where like that became all I wanted to do was watch wrestling and go to shows. And I think a lot of like my girlfriends at the time didn't really understand it. They're like, wait, you watch what?
Yeah, so she lost girlfriends, but now she's friends with the Bushwhackers.
Those are
Now
new
she's friends with Luke and
Yeah,
Butch.
both of them, who are probably like, what, 60, 70 years
Right,
old.
right. But I was actually just trying to think of someone who's alive still. You know what I
That
mean?
is true.
Which is so sad when you think of the old stuff. But that's how it happened, right? Okay, cool. Because we were doing stuff at AfterBuzz too. This is years back when we first moved to LA.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I remember
Your transition.
Yeah, I remember Kevin. Well, I didn't have a transition. Yeah, not that. But I
Bruce
remember.
Jenner style.
I remember Kevin saying that there's this girl she's the next Maria. And I'm like, well, that's a major compliment because that's his wife, his
And
now
not
wife.
only his wife, the person he bet his career on.
Right, he bet his whole career on her, and she made a living interviewing people, and he's thinking that he sees that in you.
Yeah.
What is it about interviewing people that you like? Because honestly, interviewing people gives me like unnecessary anxiety sometimes.
No, that's like the biggest compliment in the world because I looked up to Maria for so many years. So to even be like in the same room as her or even get to interview her at the time was like a really big deal for me. I think like I love hearing other people's stories, and I've always wanted to learn more about other people and impact people in a positive way. So hearing about what people are going through or struggling through, or the fun things that they're doing, like it's just like having a conversation with someone.
Yeah,
So,
no, I in the moment I love it.
Yeah.
But leading up to it, it's all like, oh man, who's on the show?
anxiety.
Who do we got to interview today?
So you hate this right now?
No, not in the
So
moment.
you're telling me.
In the moment, I'm good.
Okay.
You know what it is for Covino?
You don't like
it's-
the prep work.
Yeah.
No, for Covino,
Okay.
it's not so much the prep. It's the how's this gonna go? I don't know if I want to like when Spot will pitch someone to us.
Yeah.
Covino's like, yeah, that sounds good. When it's happening, it's all good. But it's like
Oh.
like the morning when we come in here and we're just chilling, like we're tired.
Oh my
and
God, what are
Spot's
we
like,
going to talk about?
There are definitely interviews that have given me so much stress, or like you'll meet someone and you'll have all of these questions prepared. They turn out to be the biggest asshole in the world.
Right,
But like for the most part, I mean, like doing red carpets for so long was so stressful because you had to prepare for like 100 people
I always
potentially.
felt like the people that did red carpets. I always gave them credit because I hated it. I felt there
I
was something.
hate
I feel like
them.
there's something
Yeah.
demeaning about it that I won't do it unless you're in a position where you're the person, like you're the main person. But if they're just like, hey, do you want access to this red carpet? And you're like holding a mic, desperately being like, hey,
Yeah.
see, when you do a red carpet, you have a setup.
Mm-hmm.
They're coming to you because it's probably for a WWE event
Yes,
or something like
there's
that.
something so desperate about it
But
sometimes.
for so many years when I was in LA and I was freelancing, and a lot of the times I wasn't even getting paid for red carpet coverage. I would just show up and hope that, I would get footage for a reel. But yeah, there were so many times when I had to be that person that was like holding the mic out, hoping that we would get someone. And it actually, that's what I think catapulted my career was like becoming friends with the people that I interviewed. Not everyone, but like for a couple
God bless
people.
you, 'cause
Yeah.
I hated
It's,
that.
here's
Yeah.
the analogy, Rich. It's like waiting for the waiter to come by and asking for ketchup, but he keeps walking by.
Can I get a little side of ketchup? Can I get the Chipotle?
And he walks right by. That would be us on red carpets with celebrities. And like, this is the worst
I'm
feeling
like, I'm never
ever.
doing this again.
But you stuck it out and it's working for you. So, you got the new show and you live in the digital world a lot,
Yeah.
when it comes to Instagram and online and WWE. Is there still an allure to want to do TV stuff when you have so many eyes online? Like, where's the place you want to live now?
I mean, I love
Career-wise.
LA. Since I was 10, I asked my mom if I could move to LA. Like,
No,
I was trying
like
to convince
as
her.
as
Oh,
a career.
career-wise?
He's saying
Yeah.
like, does TV even appeal to someone
Oh.
now who's doing? Because a lot of the big things you're doing
Yeah.
are on
On
WWE
digital.
Network,
Well, so-
digital, like online, Instagram. So like
Yeah.
if you're following and what you're doing big things is all online. Is there even an appeal to be on television?
It's crazy because for me, like when I was growing up, TV was what like the goal was, because that was the biggest thing. And now I think that it shifted so much into digital. Like, I came into WWE, I think, at the perfect time, is when they were building out their digital space.
Yeah.
They created an entire brand that, you know, I'm
course.
involved in now, WWE now, and like we have so many more opportunities. This show, Talking Snack, actually the first time that we're talking about it publicly is right now.
No way.
Yeah,
Nice.
and so I'm like
there's 35 million
I'm
subscribers.
so excited about that. Yeah, they're the number one sports.
So hold
YouTube
on, then
channel.
how does this, again, you've worked hard, you said, especially the past 2 years. Now you got all this following, you got the WWE behind you and things like that. How do you deal with these sort of crazy fans? Because you got to be nice to everybody, but they're sort of wackadoos because they're passionate on a different level.
I don't think so, though.
No?
Like, I remember, I relate it to myself of, like, when I was younger and I would follow bands or I would follow, like, certain people on TV that I really enjoyed watching. And, like, I probably had a live journal where I talked about these people, like, you know, so I think
So you have that sort of, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but like a fangirl sort of mentality, kind of.
I understand it.
Right, you get it. You live that
Yeah.
world. You live that life. Cathy Kelley is here on the Covino and Rich show. Talking Snack is the new show. When does it start, by the way? 2 weeks?
Yeah, so it starts the end of October.
Not Snack.
Snack, yeah.
Cooking interviews and things like that
It's a
with
little pun.
WWE superstars, and we'll talk a little more about that. But Rich, let's get into the other stuff
Spot,
too.
Yeah.
Let me pull up these two. I have my computer died today. I have the story about, where is it here? I have the story about the stepmom. Find me the story
This
about
is a weird one.
Find me the story about the husband wives.
Yeah, I saw
Okay.
this too. Again, Catherine Kelley, everything at Catherine Kelley, Instagram Cathy Kelley, CathyKelley.
Spots like
CathyKelley.com.
what story? I'm like, the one you texted me yesterday. You're the one that sent it. Spot.
I was just trying for clarification.
There's two stories today, and I want to play a little game called Which One of These Things is Fucking Weird?
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
All right.
The first story is I married my best friend's dad, and now I'm her stepmom.
Weird. Very weird.
And a 27-year-old woman married her best friend's dad, who's 52. So she's 27,
wow.
married her friend's dad, who's 52, and now she is technically the stepmom
To her best friend.
to her best friend.
That's creepy behavior.
I thought her dad was very handsome. We always flirted when we first met. I was in college. I was in a relationship, and he was still married at the time. But now, all these years later, they initiated. They
How does
went
that
out.
even happen?
Initially, Taylor had some reservations about dating her friend's father. Really? But she said over time she got over it, and the couple married last year. At the beginning, people in their friends and family circle were upset, but now
Here's why it's really weird. And you could speak on behalf of this too, Kathy. I mean, you have
I've
girlfriends.
never dated any of my
Right.
friends' fathers, so no, I can't.
you can speak on behalf of us.
No, but I'm saying, like, you
Just for the
probably
record.
grew up in your friends' houses knowing their dad. For a dad to look at the girls who grew up in their house that way is totally weird to me. Meaning, I have a 9-year-old daughter, and seeing her grow up, I've seen her friends also grow up. You know what I mean? So I know those little kids, even though she's in 3rd grade now. I've seen them since they were in preschool.
It's
and in a way, I
creepy.
feel like, like I'm a parental person in their life. Like, I want good for them. So to look at them from those eyes is
I would
a really
think- I
fucking
would
weird
think
thing.
what the morals are of the dad.
Right,
that
he's a
he
piece
would,
of shit.
Yeah.
I honestly think he's a piece of garbage. But then
However-
again, maybe you could say he met her
However, I'm gonna
later in life.
I'm gonna flip it and reverse it. If it's a story of, hey, I watched these people get be raised, that's different. You're
That's
right.
different.
Now, if some guy is in his, because we think about this all the time.
Yeah.
Our generation is having kids a little later.
Yes.
And if you were 20-something, had a kid, and your daughter or son is in college, and let's say you had them when you were 25, you're in your 40s when they're in college, and if they bring home like if you're a single dad and they bring home, this is my friend Jackie and she's 22, it's
That's
creepy
still-
and weird, but it's not
I'll
as
tell you what.
creepy as watching the kid grow up. I'll give you an analogy. You ever go on someone's Instagram? This is the worst thing. You'd never want to do this. If you find someone good looking on Instagram, by the way, Cathy Kelley on Instagram, you have like 500,000 followers. That's got to be weird, huh?
You don't need any more.
My mom makes fun of me all the time because her
She's like, who are
like
these
rate is
people?
higher than mine.
Right.
She's like, who loves you this
Yeah,
much?
when you're having a bad day, you just have to look at all the people telling you how great you are.
Or it can also work in the
Does
opposite.
it?
Yeah.
Does it? Okay.
But you look on social media, you see a girl that's a good-looking girl, and you're like, oh, let me check her out. Scroll back a little too far, you'll see like a prom photo.
Right.
And that's no, but that
A little too far. It's like last
She's
week.
too old. She's too young for you, bro.
no, but that's a weird thing that happens on social
Yeah.
media. You could see some girl. It's like, Spot. What do you follow? Is it like
the
college
babes.
Yeah, there'll be like some good-looking girl, and you go, oh, she's hot. Let me see what other pictures she has. You scroll back a little too many. You scroll up, and it's like, and it's her with some like the little dorky-looking boy. And you're
It's
like, what is this?
crazy too because like I'll see girls on Instagram, like you'll be going through the explore page and you'll see them and you're like, oh, that girl's style is really cute. You'll click on it. It's like, oh, she's 16.
Yeah,
like
it's
I
bad.
did not look like that at 16. I had braces for the second time. Like I had pimples and like did not dress like that. But,
No,
yeah.
So that's story
I don't
one.
know.
Story one.
Hold
is,
on. Here's
Oh,
the way.
wait, oh, so what I was
you
saying
have
was-
to be able to wear different hats and look through different eyes. And if you're not able to do that, I think you're a piece of garbage. You know, easier said than done, maybe. But it's, for example, I have a brother, right?
Yeah.
And he dates attractive girls, women, whatever you want to call them. If he brings them to the house, I'm not looking at them from the filter of, yo, I would want to get with that.
Yeah.
That's creepy behavior.
I-
you know what I mean?
I
Like,
hear you.
When people are bringing someone to the mix, you have to be able to separate things. Like, Rich, your wife is beautiful. I don't look at her and I'm like, oh, man, if she wasn't with Rich.
Yeah,
Because you have to have an ability
I've
to
done that.
see it as that's my daughter's friend.
Yeah,
And
but
if you don't have
I'm
that ability,
sideways.
there's something wrong.
I'm able to look at women that you've been with.
Yeah.
And find them attractive until
That's
you
it.
date them, and then all of a sudden I'm like, all right, they're a fit.
Off
like,
limits.
that's,
Oh, they're off
Yeah.
but
limits.
that's it. That's fair. That's what I'm saying. That's
and
normal
especially
behavior.
with family.
Right. You can't look at your
Spot,
daughter's
hold
friend.
on, hold on.
I don't care
I
at
have a
what
good one.
age.
I have a good one.
And think you're a good person and say,
yeah,
yo,
I-
I would want to get with
I've
that.
desexualized all the women that you've
Yes.
hung out with and been with.
Good.
It's just
Good
it's-
friend.
Yeah.
However, your brother.
Oh, what about?
He
You-
did say he
have
wanted to
you-
rub his
have-
beard on Jordan's boobs, though. He
have-
did say that.
have
I
you-
mean, I just for testing out the scruff.
Yeah.
Have you ever at one time looked a weird way at your brother's wife?
No. Honestly,
real?
Yeah, completely desexualized.
But that
Because Spot's
is
brother's,
normal.
Spot's brother's wife is like, what do we call it? She's like the Guida princess in New Jersey. She's
Oh.
like, she's like a
Major
hot
Guido.
Jersey girl with big fake boobs. and I'm like, Spot, there's no way at one point or another you're like, huh, never?
No, it's just how it worked out.
Now
Yeah.
think about that.
Okay,
Put
so-
it in perspective. If you're able to do that with like your brother's wife, your friend's girlfriend, whatever, you can't do that with your daughter's friend,
Rich.
then there's something wrong.
Yeah.
Not to call you out. Didn't something like this kind of happen with your father-in-law? Wasn't he like dating someone that was Sarah's age?
Oh, my father-in-law dates
Like,
younger.
very
than what-
briefly.
Well,
yeah.
like I said, there's exceptions.
No, but he
I didn't mean to say anything about
it
your
wasn't
father-in-law.
someone that she, like, grew up
he
with.
went on a date with someone that they knew from back. Her older sister knew from back in the day, and I think that was like a
Okay.
weird thing.
I was gonna
yeah,
say,
no,
but if it was normal, we wouldn't have known the story.
Oh, no, yeah,
'cause
no,
it's-
it
it's
was
a
weird.
bit awkward, right?
no, it was absolutely weird.
Right.
I remember being like, "What, Dave? Hey, where'd it go?"
I mean, good for him.
Yeah, but no, it was. I think her older sister knew her in college or something like that. I'm like, "Oh, that is weird."
Fast forward, I say 10 years. Melody has a new friend. 10 years. She's 20, she's
20
like
years
20
old.
years
Yeah.
old.
Yeah.
10 years. I'm 52.
That would be creepy.
I have to look at that young person from a fatherly perspective.
Okay.
Can you imagine if any of your friends tried to date your daughter?
No, because they would not be my friend. And if they don't have that ability to look at her as she's my daughter,
Yeah.
then they're pieces of garbage.
Time out.
You know, they're from the Garbaggio family.
Time out. Not your daughter. Put that out of the way.
Tony Garbaggio.
I will ask you this question then. Let's be real. They're not going to be people you know. We're making it seem like, oh, you're 50, you're 40. When you're 40, 50, 60, when you get older, we're like, oh, it's off limits. When you look at smut on the internet, when men look at porn, the older men in your life, your dads, your uncles, any guy that's looking at smut
Yeah.
is not looking at old lady stuff. They're looking at the hot 20-something-year girls on porn. So don't make it seem like
You don't know what other people like.
Don't make it seem like guys evolve to like
I've
these
always, I've always
don't-
liked old lady porn.
Don't
Granny
make it,
porn,
Don't
yeah.
make it,
Granny
don't-
porn, bro.
Don't make it sound.
Yeah, bro.
How dare you?
Don't make it sound like you're like every guy. He hits a certain age and he's like, I got kids and a family. I only watch old middies. Fuck.
You know I like old
no.
ladies.
No, you guys are watching the hot 20-something-year-old girls, and that's
There's
the
a
fact.
big difference there,
I know,
okay?
I'm just
Here's the
saying.
difference.
Okay.
I don't know them at all. There's no connection
Fair enough.
whatsoever, right?
So-
I mean, fair enough?
Yeah.
Do
Kat,
you
what
watch,
is,
do you watch
uh,
old guy porn?
No, I don't.
Okay. Because a lot of your fans wanted to know.
Yeah.
So.
For the record.
For the record, no old guy porn. But what is your stance on dating someone older? You would never date someone that older, but I mean, you live in New York now. You lived in L.A.
Yeah.
You probably meet a lot of people and from different demos, age groups, people through work. Do you have like a that is too old number?
I mean, I definitely feel like I have a that is too old number, but as I'm getting older too, that's probably going up a little bit more. Like when I was 20, I feel like it was 25 would be really old for me.
Yeah,
But-
the window. I remember when I met my wife, she was 5 years younger, and I was like, "That's a big age difference."
Yeah,
Now,
but
now I'm like, she's
perspective is
old.
so
Now
off when
I'm
you're
really
young.
mature for my age, so.
I mean, honestly, when I remember, as
I'm
you
a
get,
Guerrero man.
As you get older, the age number of people you would date or associate with absolutely changes.
Oh, totally.
When you're in high school or college, like 1 or 2 years is a big difference.
Yeah, totally.
Absolutely.
Then
We always say that. When I was, let's say, a sophomore in college,
Yeah.
and I lived in an apartment, there was like seniors that were there. I thought they were old men. I'm like, they have receding hairlines already, these guys.
No, I remember
Who are
they-
these old guys that live here?
When I was a junior, I dated a freshman for a little while, and my buddies like busted my balls, like, "Hey, you're dating an 18-year-old," and I'm thinking to myself, like, I was probably 20, and they made like a joke about
Yeah.
it. Like it's crazy to think at different stages of your life it means something.
The summer after my senior year of high school, so between high school and college, I started dating this guy who was going into his sophomore or junior year, and everyone thought that was crazy because he was 2 years older than me.
That's nuts.
I
Right?
know.
Well, now don't date your kids. Now we're worried about dating your daughter's kid.
Okay,
friend.
so like
Your
I
daughter's
said,
friend.
look, here's to wrap that up. That is puto behavior because again, this is his daughter's kid. His daughter's friend.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
even
your
worse.
daughter's kid.
Don't date your grandkid.
Yeah.
This is your daughter's friend. You can't do that. I know he's probably getting some high fives from other creepy older guys, but that's not a cool thing. And that's story number one. So what's story two? Story two with Cathy Kelley trying to figure out what's the weirder
what's the
story.
creepier story?
Right.
Story one, if you're just joining us now, story one was what's the headline here? Story one. Guy dates his actually, what is it? Girl, I married my best friend's dad, and now I'm her stepmom. That's the funny part about it too. Like,
Is
Yeah.
that like an
we're thinking-
op-ed? Like what?
Yeah, it was actually out of the New York Post. Your stomping grounds in New York. Now, Spot, what's the other story you saw the other day? Also out of the New York Post. Some men love watching other guys have sex with their wives.
I've heard of this.
I mean, of course we heard of it, but apparently it's a growing trend. You may be
Yeah.
surprised to know that cuckold porn, the second most searched porn term after youth. Wow.
Someone please explain this to me. What is this about?
These stories are tied together.
Because
Well-
this is something I just don't understand.
I mean, I'm not surprised by this, but why is this an article?
I don't know. While wife sharing may be commonly held fantasy, in reality, it's a sexual scenario that is just a step too far for most men. But apparently now, not
Yeah.
so much the case. More and more men are saying they like to watch other men get with their woman.
Equally as odd to me, but you say I'm a big prude anyway. I'm
Yeah, but
still
I think-
going number one is more weird, right? But this story, to want to watch the person you love have sex with someone else, I get it. Look, to each his own. With Provolone, everyone's got their thing. But to me, it's like, then do you really love that person
Well,
so
hold
much?
on.
But again, whatever gets people off, it's going to be different for everybody.
here's-
I'm not into that.
Here's here's a good way to.
But that's
right.
me.
Here's a good way to get an immediate reaction off of this.
Go ahead.
Cathy Kelley is here. What would be weirder to you?
Yeah.
One of your young attractive friends that you have saying, "Cathy, I'm dating my friend's dad,"
Okay.
or her saying, "The guy I'm dating wants to watch me fuck other dudes." What would you find to be a more whoa?
I would say, cool, as long as you're happy with that.
Which one would you be? Which one would be more of a head scratcher to you?
Honestly, both. I probably wouldn't be friends with that person.
Yeah.
You know?
But I'm trying to think myself. Like, if you came up to me and
It
said,
does say something. I'm not going to not be friends with you because I realize everyone has their weird shit.
Yeah.
I get
Yeah.
that. But it would say something to me that you and I are not on the same level of
Where we're at in life.
where we're at in life
Yeah.
because for me, I'm way, I guess, more possessive than that, or I love in a different way, and I don't understand that. So I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying for me personally, I could never, like, for me, that doesn't get me off. That makes me want to fight somebody, So it does the exact opposite of what it does for other people. So I just don't understand it at all.
Yeah.
You don't want the person you love to basically cheat on you in front of you.
It's not cheating, though, if it's consensual.
I know,
Yeah.
but I'm saying, that's kind of what it is, and I can never understand that.
It's Cathy's right. It's cheat. The term cheating would be like you're doing something and the other person doesn't
Because
know, and
there
it's
are
deceptive
people
and,
who are in relationships
Yeah.
and they both agree that they shouldn't be in a monogamous relationship.
Yeah.
So that's a thing.
But the idea of being like, I want to watch this happen.
Yeah.
Spot, what do you think? Which is a head scratcher to you? If you had a scenario where two people came up to you with these being their stories.
To me, as weird as it sounds, the having someone watch you have sex is a little bit not more normal but less weird to me because
I hear you.
People have odd sexual interests.
Yeah, it's like a you're sexually explorative and you're kind of into a different thing.
There may be a very open couple sexually where the age parent the kid thing that's different.
That just seems that's creepy to me.
All right, let me ask you this.
This is odd but consensual. The old to young.
Someone might be taking advantage of it.
Yeah.
Is a little bit.
If let's say there was someone in the mix, like let's say the person in question here was someone you were attracted to, would you be willing to have sex with her if her dude was watching?
Yes.
You would. Even no problem at all.
Yeah.
Didn't we learn this in Oklahoma City?
Oh yeah, that's right. We did. We talked about this briefly.
Absolutely.
Spot, would you do that?
If I was a single guy and someone said, "Hey, I want to watch you have sex with my wife," if I found the wife attractive and I was
but
single,
that creepy guy's in the corner getting off watching.
What do I care?
What do you care?
You think that's my focal point?
No, I feel like because I'd keep looking back, like, what is he? Like, what is he? Is he looking? Is he watching me? Is he watching her?
I
What's
think it's
going
weird
on?
having sex with a dog in the room. Like that's like
Never mind.
what are you
Is he gonna
talking
come over and
about?
lick my balls?
Spot, you're so right. I'd be looking back like, no, stop looking at my ass. Dude.
Exactly.
You're worried that either one may lick your ass.
Yeah, I'm with Spot. I'd feel so uncomfortable about that.
In this article, though, there is a version of this where they say you can go off and have sex with the woman has sex with another guy, and then she comes home and talks about it in detail. So I'd be down for that.
Oh,
wait,
man.
you'd be down for that?
No, I'd be down to be the guy that has sex with the girl. who goes out to
But
the
again,
guy.
it's generational, and I think that it's the way you grow up and what's
I
normal
don't think
for
it's
some people.
generational.
You don't
I think it's
so?
just more exposed now. I think that people were doing this since the beginning of
Yeah.
time.
Well, no,
honestly.
I agree with
Yeah.
that.
Kathy,
But I
Kathy,
think
Kathy's so on point.
Yeah.
There
People
are
were dating
grandparents-
their kids' friends for years, or like you
yeah.
know they would marry their kids' friends in the colonial times. That happened in America for a really long
okay,
time.
I can't
Kathy's
deny that.
right. Kathy's right. People were into way kinky, odd things
I
over the years,
know.
but we had this.
You'd like marry a 14-year-old when you were
Yeah, that was
35,
normal.
but
Yeah.
you were pushing dead. So
Yeah, I would say life expectancy was 45.
No, but she's right though.
Sorry,
There's so
Rich.
many things in life. What do we always say? Like Married with Children and Roseanne and a couple of these shows in the '90s really made people think, oh, families are not so perfect. That was what made Married with Children and Roseanne and shows like that
I
normal.
get it, but
Because
you don't
before
think that in a, I guess, for the sake of being progressive or evolving, sexuality is more, what's the word you used, about explorative than ever before?
But that's like some
Meaning, like Jake, I bet you Jake has no qualms with this at all.
I don't
Oh,
think
no.
it's explorative at all. I think that they've been doing this since like the Egyptian
You're so-
times,
you're
and
so
that
right on.
now people are talking about it more in the past maybe decade. But people are also way more judgmental because everyone has their opinion online.
It's
I
like
agree with
the,
Kathy.
Remember the Sebastian Maniscalco bit? I forget which special it was, but he talks about how like with the internet, people that like to dress like babies.
It's
like
easy to
before
find.
the internet.
It just hurts Sebastian weirdos. Yeah, he talks
Yeah.
about how back in the day, if you had a weirdo or weird
You were in
fetish,
your basement.
You were in your basement by yourself, like thinking, "Oh, it's just me."
But now you're at a convention.
Now there's conventions for everything.
Right, with thousands of weirdos who are like-minded. But I'm telling you, I guess maybe, I guess you're right, Kathy. But again, you're new on the show. I don't want to debate with you right now.
Why not?
But no, I'm just kidding.
No, but hold on,
But I
listen to
think
this.
that guys like Jake wouldn't hesitate, where a guy like me is a little more old school in his thought process and would be like, nah, not for me. You know what I'm trying to say?
I do, but I think it would be almost as foolish as when people say, like for instance, like the gay community. People have always been gay. It wasn't accepted, and people felt embarrassed or shamed or had to hide it because of different reasons. Like
it was
wasn't
accepted in like the Greco-Roman era.
Exactly, and then but then in I guess you would
naked
say
wrestling.
in American
You
history.
keep going back in time. What time period are you from?
No, but
I watched a lot of Carmen Sandiego growing up, so
Oh,
I know
nice.
Okay.
retained a lot of information.
no, but when you
Did you always feel bad for the kids that got stuck with Africa at the end?
Yes.
No, but it is true though. Like there's always been people with different preferences, but now everyone's very accepting, so they're able to openly talk about it.
I hope that people are accepting.
Here with
You-
Cathy
you
Kelley.
hope, right?
Let's hear some Sebastian Maniscalco
Yeah.
on the Covino and Rich
This
show.
relates to this, I guess. Yeah.
This internet, there's something for everybody, right? You got some weird fetish, some weird thing you do? Look at how weird it just got in here, huh? Some of you are into this type of behavior. But if you like something weird, if you're an adult, you like to dress up as a baby, there's a website for you. 30 years ago, if you like to dress up as a baby, nobody knew that. You did that in the privacy of your own home. If you ever came out of your house with a diaper on, your neighbor would go, look at this shit, call the FBI, get this shit out of the neighborhood, right? It was handled. But today, just throw it up in the Google. I like to dress up as a baby. Next thing you know, they're at the Hilton on a Saturday with 863 people that like to do this shit.
Yeah. So, you know what? If you really want to piece this all together, we've normalized interesting behavior.
Yeah.
For the sake of, criticizing other people's preferences. We've normalized it because, it's kind of what friendships do. That's why circles are interesting, because you and I make things okay sometimes for each other when maybe they're not okay.
You ever think that, Kathy? You hang out with certain people, and because you both agree on certain things, you've convinced each other, oh, that's normal and okay.
Yeah.
And that's what the internet and articles like that are doing
Makes you
for
feel
everybody.
less alone.
Even though it's been going on for years, I will agree on that. Cathy Kelley's here.
Let's take 2 quick phone calls.
We're going to take some phone calls.
Then I want to talk a little wrestling with
Let's
Kathy.
do it, yeah.
Dave, Alberta, what's up, Dave?
Hey, Dave, you're on the show.
Hey, guys. Scientifically, I believe this. So the reason guys like to watch someone else bang their wife is, if you think about it, so humans have been around for 3 million years, and it's only been the last 10,000 years that we've been monogamous, right? So before that, it was the idea of making the strongest baby was the woman fills herself up with as much sperm as she can, different guys, and basically the strongest one is going to win out. So what happens is, even the way your penis is shaped and shit like that, it's meant to try to suck the other guy's cum out.
What?
So your cum is going to win out. So it's totally the idea of you getting turned on by watching someone else screw your wife. It's kind of like our caveman shit. So
Yeah, Rich has always said this, Dave. You've always said that.
I've never heard that in my life.
Yeah, your penis
it all has to
sucks
do-
other guys' semen.
I don't know.
Yes.
Miguel in LA. What's up, Miguel?
By the way, I've never heard that before, ever.
What just happened?
Yeah.
Cavemen? No.
Kathy, what do you think of that?
No,
I feel like it's something I saw in an episode of Game of Thrones.
Hey, what's up, Miguel?
Hey, good morning, guys.
Hey.
Hey, Kathy, what's going on?
Hey, Miguel.
Hey, congrats on all your success.
Oh, thank you. It's been so long since I heard from
Hey,
you.
yeah. Hey, but have you ever thought about doing your YouTube baking show again?
Well, that's actually what Talking Snack is kind of like.
Oh, so this was something you used to do, and then they gave you the green light on it, sort of. The pilot sort of took off.
I've been talking about doing a cooking show with WWE superstars for so long, and so now it's kind of finally coming to fruition.
Which, by the way, it is sort of like a out there pitch, right? They do wrestling. That's what they do. And you're like, no, but I want to cook with these guys.
I know. But that's the thing is WWE Universe is so big that there's going to be something for everyone.
Right,
they've kind of expanded. They had a Superstar Inc. show, which was talking about the tattoos that all the superstars had. That's not everyone. Not everyone has tattoos.
It's not going to be just like food prep with John Cena, right?
No.
There's 30 chicken
although
breasts.
That would be great.
Yeah. I packed them all for the whole week.
No, it's kind of a hybrid of what people made when they were younger with their families, or just something that they really want to cook.
That sounds like a lot of fun for real.
Yeah.
Talking snack.
That's awesome. When you by the way, when you talk about food and wrestling, I know this is probably way before your time, but do you remember the old wrestling ice cream bars?
Oh, I mean, I've seen them obviously, and I always wanted one.
It was so weird because I don't know if I thought I loved them or hated them. Do you remember those that you get them from the ice cream man?
They were printed with WWE.
Printed with they would be
superstars,
the $1 Million Man printed on the
vanilla wafer. Vanilla ice cream.
I was more of a Fat Frog.
Remember these
kind of guy?
They look like that.
I was more of a Choco Taco, Fat Frog, Bubble O Bill, good humor dude.
No, but the old WWF ice cream bars before it was even WWE. Do you remember Hillbilly Jim? It was like a weird. It was vanilla ice cream with a weird cakey wafer.
things.
You don't remember those?
Hey, Rich, should I just give you I remember those.
Please do, because these were they were like a big popular thing.
I don't remember those.
You don't remember the superstars
No.
of wrestling ice cream bars?
I swear I don't. I mean, I remember all the superstars, but I don't remember those. Do you, Spot?
No.
I don't remember. My ice cream man never had those. I don't think. He had the big rocket pop. Those Flintstone push pops.
These were a big part of it.
I never had those.
Yum.
Delicious cookie.
I want
and
ice
cookie
cream.
with 6 of your favorite WWF superstars.
They were fantastic. Hey, by the way, now that you like you said, you're sort of newer in the game for WWE. Meaning like, it was only years ago where you started watching. When you went back and watched old shit, is there an old school wrestler that you're like, oh my God, I wish I would have watched this live? Is there someone that you're fascinated by, old school style?
I mean, I feel like there are so many people that I'm fascinated by. I'm actually really enjoying HBK has been back, Shawn Michaels, and I always loved like watching his old matches, and he's come back to the Performance Center and started training the younger superstars, so that's really cool to see.
Did you ever see how he became a heel?
Yeah.
When he threw Marty Jannetty through the glass window of the barbershop. We actually watched that the other day here for some reason.
Yeah, do you
What were
watch?
you talking about?
Well, I was saying how the greatest announcer.
I know.
I was saying how Bobby the Brain Heenan was such a fucking great announcer that I think he jokingly was trying to be serious. He's like, look at Jannetty jump through the glass to try to escape or something.
It was a funny
fantastic.
classic clip.
And just the other day we were playing some old school Macho Man audio. Some of those
amazing,
old
yeah.
speeches from Macho Man.
Yeah, when you're in the actual WWE offices and things like that, what are some of the things that they're still reliving over and over again? Is it the stuff we see on TV, or is it the Macho Man clips on YouTube? Like, what are some of the ones that still stand out and stood the test of time?
At the WWE office, they are 24/7 with new content because there's so much going out right now that I don't really think that
they don't live in the past the way we do.
They don't live in the past.
with it.
Yeah, like there are a couple things, like they just put out this incredible Eddie Guerrero documentary on WWE.com. One of my friends actually produced it, and they do go back every once in a while, and they focus on the past and the history of WWE, but for the most part, like, we're nonstop. Like, they're either ingesting current footage or coming up with new shows or whatever. Like, they're backlogged on so much stuff.
Well, when it comes to this
content.
stuff, Rich and I, we live in the past with this stuff, but we're very well aware of how popular it still is. I mean, and
more than ever.
Yeah. And my brother-in-law like lives, breathes, and eats and shits this stuff constantly. So tell us, how big of a story is the Roman Reigns story?
I mean,
that's terrible.
Yeah.
It's
when
huge,
did this break? Did this happen yesterday or the day before?
So yesterday on Monday Night Raw, Roman Reigns came out and said that he has been battling leukemia for the last 11 years. He got it when he was 22, and it was in remission. Obviously, I think that affected not just the entire WWE locker room, but the entire WWE universe. Like, I couldn't escape the story this morning, and like, obviously watching that, like, you have to feel something for what's going on.
Yeah, and that's got to be weird too, because everything's fun, I imagine, right? It's all entertainment, and people are having fun with this. And then some real shit happens, and then the whole vibe of the office probably changes.
Now, there was no word of that before that? Like, did people know he was in?
I personally had no idea. I have only worked with him a handful of times, and he's always been super respectful. He's always been looked at as the leader in the locker room currently. But yeah, to have that go on, I don't think many people knew.
Yeah, that's a shitty story.
Which just shows you never know what someone else is going through, and to be like, have that crazy of a work ethic, and constantly be fighting for your career and still take care of your family, and then to be going through with that as well is just like heartbreaking.
WWE's Talking Snack starts in 2 weeks with Cathy Kelley on their YouTube channel. She's here hanging out. I imagine, again, this is probably wrong of us to think that everyone's nice to you, because you seem very like cheerful and happy and good vibes and everything. When you're hanging out with all these wrestlers, has anyone ever been a jerk off to you? Do you get attitude because maybe they're in their zone and maybe they're in character and you take it the wrong way? Like,
I mean, there are definitely interviews but like, that's intentional, like. It's,
but still, does that? Because you ever go to steam restaurants, Rich, where they shit on you anyway? Like, I even
you can't handle that. Like, what's that shitty place? Dick's Last Resort, where the whole gimmick is they insult you.
Yeah.
Oh,
there was a place in Chicago, and now I can't remember what the name was.
That makes
but, like,
me
they
so
did it intentionally.
uncomfortable, though. Like, that makes me feel so weird. So even if it is like meant to be that way, that doesn't make you feel odd?
No.
Do they
That's part of the job.
Or if they're like, I got time for you, Cathy, whatever the fuck you. And then they come back like, I was just kidding, Cathy.
Yep.
Does that happen?
I mean, like, just to be like transparent about it, I feel like my job is more acting than it is interviewing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're like doing a Mean Gene sometimes, right?
I hope I'm doing a Mean Gene.
Right. Because
a third of Mean Gene.
But I'm glad you say that, because I don't think guys like Mean Gene got the credit they deserve because they were playing along with all these characters the whole time.
We definitely got the credit, at least within our
think so.
community.
Yeah, but not as much, not as a credible, not at the time. WWE is in a different place. I'm not telling you work there, but I'm saying you think that he got the credit he deserved at the time. Looking back and seeing how big it is, I get it.
You know me. I grew up caring.
But as
I grew up caring about wrestling more than anything at one point in my life, and I remember thinking to myself, I used to think that Howard Finkel didn't get the credit he deserved. I thought he was a better ring.
And he is one of the nicest human beings on the entire
Really?
planet.
The Fink was the best ring announcer.
Do your best
I
Fink
say
for Kathy.
fuck Michael Buffer.
Do your
I
Fink.
want to hear that.
No, because he's. It's more like a coming down the aisle. Like, he just had that. Him saying coming down the aisle, I think trumps. Let's get ready to rumble or
But
we
again,
are live or any boxing or MMA
at the
thing.
time-
that's the thing is when people are so good at their jobs, you just kind of sometimes you overlook it
Yeah,
because
and
they're
new, everything
you don't
he said.
realize how great it is.
I think he is overlooked because, again, it was considered more entertainment and wasn't the level it is now back then. Who are you?
We got to go in 30 seconds. So you never look at the clock.
Time flies.
Sorry,
Real
Cathy Kelley.
quick before you go,
Yeah.
Vince McMahon, cool guy. You ever much dealings with him, or is he so far above everything else?
I've only interacted with him a few times, but Stephanie McMahon has been an incredible mentor. She does so much for the company and especially the women. So it's really
we're so
wanna
happy
stop
for you.
talking
We're
snack.
so happy for you, Kathy. Her new show, Talking Snack,
Till
in
Vince
2
McMahon
weeks.
hits her with a "You're fired."
I hope that never happens.
WWE.com. Cathy Kelley, thanks for being here. And guys, if you missed any of today's show on demand with the SiriusXM app, we'll see you tomorrow. Until then, arrivederci, baby.
See you in the promised land.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.